morning, Muscatine. It is Tuesday, and I think on all of our calendars, everything was screwed up because they had yesterday as the national holiday, which is kind of weird because today is Tony Lokensol's birthday. So I'm not sure if that was just a misprint or what, but Tony, I'm sure you're watching, if not live at some point. Happy birthday, bud. We all appreciate everything you do for the community. I won't say how old, but it's a big one. Enjoy it. It's fun being on the other side. Anyway, I'll catch up with you later, but a couple of quick programming notes. Tonight we do have Muskie Volleyball. They host Assumption. That'll be at 6:30. So, geez, 5. Chris, do you know? No. They changed it. I think it's 5:30. Don't quote me. Check the schedule. It's on Facebook. We've got it right out there. I promise. And then this Friday, we travel up to Iowa City West for the Muskies, who had an amazing game Friday night. So enjoy that. And one of the people that you can thank, two of the people, I guess, technically, because there's two of you here. I can count. I really can count. There's two. For you being able to watch it on the MPW cable are Erika and Rachel. How are you two?
Great.
Good. Thanks for having us today.
Good to see you both. If you could, real quick, before we dive into all this cool stuff, just introduce yourselves real quick for everybody and a little bit of what you do out at MPW.
All right. Well, I'm Rachel Reed, Customer Service Manager. I've been with MPW for 25 years, actually this November. I've been in the customer service department for most of my career. So in the customer service area, we handle all of the billing. We handle doing sales with communication services, getting you set up with installations, and just all kinds of general questions, no matter what the question might be.
You guys get to babysit the cool new hub thing too, don't you?
We do, yes. The new Smart Hub or
Smart Hub,
yep.
That's awesome. So if you haven't gotten that, if you're watching us on MPW or if you have MPW, go out and get the Smart Hub app and get all connected. It makes your life way easier.
Absolutely.
And you can actually see everything that you're the amount of power you're using, and there's a whole thing. We did a whole show on it, and but it's awesome.
It's a great tool.
Yeah.
Great tool.
And I'm Erika Cox. Excuse me. I'm the Director of Customer and Technology Experience. I've been at MPW for not quite as long as Rachel, 23 years in October. And I spent most of my career doing HR, and over the last decade or so have had the opportunity to kind of expand and go into a different route. So I really like it. I feel like I got to start a new career without having to start a new company, and very appreciative for the opportunities. But as Director of Customer and Technology Experience, I work with Rachel and her team in customer service. I have marketing and sales, communications, operations group, and then corporate IT. So we keep busy, we have a lot of fun.
So basically everything that's not power or water. You're the Muscatine part. There we go. Yeah, because you guys are the people part. Yeah, that's it. There's a new branding thing for you, Mitch. Wow. It's a train wreck today, folks, already. So you guys, obviously, you're a big part of everything that goes on in the community. And one of the things that, when school starts, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into school starting that I think a lot of us don't realize that you guys just kind of handle behind the scenes, and it all just sort of happens. Like making sure there's air conditioning. How did that all go?
We had a smooth start to the school year. We started off with some really hot temperatures for the kids returning to school, but we were able to keep everything moving smoothly. Generation, keeping the air conditioners running, and we definitely have. I think everybody has put their air conditioners to the test this summer with the heat that we experienced. But I think we're really lucky to have schools in town that are set up, and able to allow the kids to attend school and be in the comfort of air conditioning that keeps it cool for them.
And you guys also pulled off something kind of cool down at the riverfront. What'd you guys do?
Yeah, so we had the opportunity to schedule the bridge light shows. And so we got together with our programmer and put on the week that school started a purple and gold show along with a white and yellow / black show to just get both Muscatine and L&M hopefully started off on the best foot forward that they could.
Chris, were you able to pull up the pictures for that? That was awesome. I saw the yellow. I didn't see the purple. I was driving by and I'm like, holy cow. Like the yellow, when that thing's yellow, you notice it. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to say emergency yellow, but it's kind of sort of like that. So what else school-wise do you guys play with? Anything else?
Well, you kind of mentioned it earlier, but one of our relationships of being able to promote the local community is our local access programming that we have. And Discover Muscatine, Pearl City Media has one of those channels on our cable system. And as you mentioned, it's a way for people who can't make it to the games to still be able to enjoy watching the hometown team play.
Yeah, and I'll say this, when we first looked at doing the channel to support, honestly, a lot of, this content, but then also the sports side, because, we'd been broadcasting that for a long time. The team at MPW was so helpful and supportive in getting going, because obviously I'd never done a channel, like who just randomly starts a TV channel, right? And even like now, when randomly something goes wrong, it's literally just pick up a phone, and you guys are always a tremendous help. And everything that we've ever needed to be successful, you guys have had or figured out, like, how can we help with this? And, obviously not just with us, but even like the library and the city, county, school district, everybody that gets their meetings on. You guys have been a huge, huge proponent of local content, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
No.
I was just saying, as somebody who had my children go through school here, and they're now grown and off, but my son did a lot of coaching with baseball and football. Mm-hmm. We always love the opportunity to be able to, if we couldn't make the games, to log in, turn on the Discover channel and be able to watch the sports as they were happening. So I know it's a great value, and a lot of people really enjoy that flexibility when you're not able to make it to the games, to be able to still catch them and stay in touch with what's going on.
And what I love is Nick now goes back in, and after we get done broadcasting, he actually grabs the whole broadcast and puts it in video on demand, doesn't he? So you don't have to wait for us to replay it. You can literally just go punch it, and if you want to do your own instant replay, you can, and all that other fun stuff.
And I think another, great benefit with the local broadcasting is, we have our help desk that is on site at Muscatine Power and Water. They're there till midnight. And as we have local broadcast things, we'll be on site to make sure if there happens to be any little hiccup that might come up, we're trying to monitor and keep in contact with those that we need to stay in contact with to ensure, the quality and that things are going off as we expected.
Well, and it's even to the point, when we're down broadcasting baseball and softball, internet down there is a challenge, and you guys have helped us with that a couple times. It's not just oh, hey, here's a channel. Right. It's whatever the tech that we need. And I want to give a quick shout out to John Moffitt, who is most people will never know that he exists out at MPW, right, from a customer-facing side. Yeah. But man, that guy, anytime there's a problem, I just kind of toss it over there. He's like, oh yeah, it's just a thing like this. Let me do this, bing, bing, and it's just done and handled. And from my point of view, I don't think it would have worked without him. So John, thank you. We greatly appreciate it, and you probably don't get all the recognition you deserve. But
well, and I just want to play off of that, because I think that what you bring to the table, the content, the adding the scores to the games, adding players, adding, when you did the graduations for high school and you put every kid's name up there as they walked across the stage, in my experience in working with you take things to the next level, and we appreciate that, because it makes for better content. I remember going to a basketball game years ago and saw the program that we were using, and the next game there was a very different looking program that looked how I think Muscatine wants to represent itself. And you got involved, didn't have to, wasn't asked to, but you just got involved to say, we can do better than this. And
Yeah,
I think
usually
those
people are like, what do you do? Why are you just, no. But no, thank you, I appreciate it. And it's, you know, I think sometimes I'm just on the point of some of that stuff because we're lucky enough to be in the positions where we see those things and we can help, and the support of like all our sponsors, like you guys and Bear, and like just everybody lets us be there and just kind of do that without having to think about it. And I know the district appreciates it. Now that they've got the video board, we're helping one of the students get like some new fresh content to put on the board, and just, you know, things that are like the Muskie Minutes team. Like I can go help them do their announcements and teach them how to do this stuff, and they're going to be working with us on some of the sports broadcasts. And it's just a relationship that we couldn't do if there wasn't people like you guys behind us. So
there's a lot of us guys
Yeah.
that make this community what it is.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
like the list is a mile long. You can usually look at Discover Muscatine and like basically anywhere you see an ad in Discover Muscatine, they're the ones that are supporting making all this stuff happen one way or another. So let's talk about like actual service. So like back to school, you guys have got a promo going for the Wi-Fi at home, correct?
Yep.
And like, how does that all?
Yeah, so right now, customers can take advantage of our MPW Wi-Fi at home. It's $7.99 a month, but we're running a promotion for first month free and free installation. With the Wi-Fi at home, it becomes a managed service that our help desk staff then manages for customers. We have different tools available to, you know, keep an eye on things, make sure if we're seeing, you know, customers that might be rebooting their router multiple times. Oh, that might be a sign of an issue going on, so we'll proactively reach out to the customer and call and see if there's anything we can help troubleshoot. But then we also manage, you know, firmware upgrades. So as firmware needs upgraded on the router, we can behind the scenes just go in and do that, and customers, you know, don't have to go through the process of processing that firmware upgrade themselves, you know, rebooting the router, anything like that might come into play.
Well, and I think something that a lot of people don't realize, and my mom's actually getting ready to do this now, is like how much of a key the router is in that. Like, so if your router, and this is from a guy, like we carry routers with us everywhere we go. Yeah. Realistically, if your router's probably more than a couple years old, and in some ways even more than probably 2 at this point, you're not going to be able to see the biggest benefit out of higher speeds, right? Especially if you're only using Wi-Fi, because like if you don't have like Wi-Fi 6, which is, you know, the really fast stuff, or some like 6E, whatever, it's not going to happen, right? So you could be sitting there going like, I've got 200 down, but I'm only getting 50. That's your router. And like you guys just kind of like take that whole, like if you don't mess with that stuff on a regular basis, it's not fun, right? It's well worth $79. It's not $79 a month. $7.99. I mean, because essentially that's like the price of a good router every 2 years, right? And you guys just handle it. So it kind of takes, I don't want to know how you do it because math doesn't necessarily make sense, but it's a service that you guys will be able to provide that most people just do it.
And that becomes, you know, an area that's a little tough to troubleshoot. So when we do have customers calling in and they own their own router, you know, we don't have access and the tools to be able to troubleshoot their router. Whereas when it's a router that's provided by MPW, then we can handle all that troubleshooting. We can send a tech out on site and really take that burden off the customer for them and make sure we're handling those situations.
Yeah, so you are exactly correct that the router can make or break your internet experience. With our fiber project done, you know, I don't have concerns that we're not getting what we promised that we're going to get to your house. What happens inside the house, like Rachel said, we can't control that, but you know, our help desk plays a big role in picking out the router that we offer because you know, that's going to impact the number of calls that they take. So we do get higher end routers that we put out into the community, and there's going to be, you know, we're starting to look at some of our routers that are getting a little bit older out there on the system. We're going to be proactively contacting those customers saying, hey, it's time to upgrade your router. Come in and get your new one. You know, you don't have to outlay that cash out front.
Because I mean, realistically, like the routers that we use for like broadcasting and stuff, which is just like a high-end gaming router, I mean, you're looking at $350 a piece pretty easily, right? So, I mean, that covers a lot of months of just having you guys handle it. So maybe they could just like, maybe I get that $7.99 and they can just like follow me everywhere I go and
Yeah,
just
there
like,
you go. But definitely with, back to school, it's another time when everybody in their home is, the kids are needing, solid Wi-Fi internet service to be able to do homework and different lesson plans. And I think the other interesting thing is a lot of people don't really stop to think about how many connected devices they have in their home.
yeah.
And on average, I think the average is like 22 devices connected in a home.
Chris, could you pull up that graphic if you haven't yet? And this is, I remember the first time, like, obviously we have a bazillion devices in our house, but I never really thought about it until the day you and I don't remember where we were at, but you just mentioned, yeah, the average person has 17. I'm like, and this was a couple years ago, I'm like, 17, really? And then I'm like, I think I literally, like, on the spot just started going like this, and I'm like,
Yeah.
holy crap, no wonder every once in a while things just get a little janky, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, thermostats, like our refrigerator, oven, like literally everything is.
Watches, smartphones, TVs, everything.
Garage doors.
Yeah, garage doors.
Outlets, lights, fans,
Cameras.
cameras, yeah, you name it, it's there. So, yeah, holy cow, it always blows my mind, and I do this all the time. So, and I think, don't you guys have like a little like juice it up kind of thing going on? Like, in case you feel like you're a little on the slow side?
Yeah, we definitely have our next level promotions. So if you've been streaming or using your TVs and your devices and you're finding like maybe it's just not as quick as you think it should be, it probably has a lot to do with how many devices you have connected in the home. So you can give us a call and we can what we call next level you, put you on a higher speed for just $5 more a month. And you can give that a try and experience that difference. And a lot of times that might even be a tool we'll use, when troubleshooting. If customers are calling in, it's a tool we'll use and say, hey, we can offer you this promotion, try this speed, see if you experience changes that meet your needs better.
Well, and that's one thing that I think also a lot of people don't necessarily think about is if you've got like two people streaming on a phone, a TV or two, and it's not always while you're actively streaming, like they'll be communicating back and forth, they'll be downloading updates. There's always constantly stuff going on with devices, even if you're not actively watching them.
Right.
And you can actually, if you watch on the Discover Muscatine website, you're gonna see a bunch of these yellow big ads for going back with a gig. And how much is like a gig? Like for people to understand like a gig of internet, what does that mean you can do?
Well, it's 1,000 megabits.
Right.
So you can have all of your connected devices. You can pull those, those phones, the laptops that are capable of downloading 400, 600 meg. You can see that. So I have a gig at my house, and we're a family of 4. And so when we download apps, when we're downloading something from the internet, it really doesn't take very long at all. And it used to. I mean, definitely before fiber, it would take a while for those things to download. And we just have that capacity with fiber now.
And that's one thing, like to kind of give you guys an example of like the difference between even like 250, which 250 is great, right? And a gig, like when we move a lot of video files back and forth, which are huge, right? 120, it's not uncommon for like a 4K video to be like 120 gigabytes, right? For like an hour or two, whatever. In the old days, even on 250, that's a 20, 30 minute thing. When we've got gig, it's like 2 minutes. So, I mean, the things that you guys, like the normal household, you're gonna be virtually instantaneous, especially Xbox downloads. If you have a kid that plays Xbox, things like Madden, Fortnite, and there's huge downloads, wire their Xbox to the router, get a gig, and then you don't have to listen to it anymore. Just speaking from experience.
And the nice thing with our gig service is that also comes with the Wi-Fi service. So that is part of our gig package.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you subscribe to the gig level, you can get the Wi-Fi at home, Wi-Fi managed service through MPW for no additional cost. And so if you're not already on gig, you can, again, like we were mentioning, you can do the $5 next promo for 3 months, pay $5 more, and give that speed a try, along with, receiving that Wi-Fi at home.
Yeah, and that'll make your life so much easier. Just do it.
Yeah, And so we think gig is fast today. So we're planning, probably not later than first quarter, hopefully sooner, but not later than first quarter, multi-gig. So we'll have a 2 gig and a 5 gig service that we'll be rolling out because it's just where things are going. It's just more and more bandwidth is needed.
And having bandwidth it's kind of like having a big enough water pipe into your house. Like that's the one thing you don't want to like undersize. So that's now just me sitting here thinking like 5 gig, that sounds amazing. And I can imagine corporate customers are like extremely ecstatic over something like that. And speaking of corporate, we're going to kind of like spin off over to look at this. I got him scared. No, I think of that because I think of Geneva Hills and like out where Geneva is. You guys have got some expansions coming up that are like here now. Like, what all do you guys? What's like on the docket for coming up?
So we are doing several rural expansions. The state of Iowa put together some funding opportunities to get high-speed internet out to underserved and unserved areas of the community. And so we've been successful in winning 2 grants, and we've applied for a 3rd grant. But right now we're doing what we call Highway 22 East. So from the Han Geneva plant out Highway 22 to Skylane Road. We'll be serving all of those roads coming off of Highway 22. So Geneva Hills Road, Sweetland, Deer Path, Wyoming Hills, all the way out to Skylane.
Yeah, and that was, I'll never forget, my brother-in-law, Brandon, lives right at the bottom of Geneva Hills, right? And so they're like at the bottom of the hill, so they can't like, internet, like it all just sucks.
The Geneva plant.
They can
like,
literally they can see the Geneva plant, like you can see it when you drive by 22, but they've just had horrible internet and phone service for years. And I'll never forget this. You had just told me that you were applying for that, and you'd given me the map, and he sent me a text about something like coming down here to use the internet or something. I'm like, hey, just think, maybe in a year or 2, if they get this, you'll be, and like, he's like, really? And like, he's been watching it, like every time something comes out, he's like, did they get it? And like, I'm like, yeah, and now you're actually like there. So that was probably about 2 years ago? It was like a 2-year process. So that's awesome. And
so we should get all of our construction done this year and be turning customers up yet this year over the winter and get Highway 22 East completed. And then next year we'll start Tipton Road, Bayfield area. So I'm directionally challenged on the other side of the bypass.
Yeah, so just past like Isaac before you get to Mulberry and out that way, that's Tipton, and Bayfield's right out there. And we totally lucked out because we're in the subdivision that has you guys, but like literally on the other side of our yard, like they're toast.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I was absolutely thankful for when we moved in out there.
Yeah, we did an open house out or a groundbreaking out at the Han Geneva plant for our Highway 22 East. And I visited with somebody who's like, I lived in town, I had your fiber. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't appreciate what I had until I moved out here and I don't have fiber. So it's huge.
It is. And that's, the one thing I'm just going to like step back and hop on a soapbox for a quick second. You guys were on the front end of fiber everywhere. And that's one thing that I love about how you guys have approached pretty much everything throughout MPW's existence is you're constantly watching for what's coming next. And like, whether it's the energy production side or whatever it is, you guys are sitting there going, okay, hey, fiber is going to be a thing. Like even when you started the communications back in the 90s-ish, it wasn't really a thing, right? But even now, there's a lot of communities that don't have fiber, or they're just starting to talk about it, and we're done and rolling. So,
and I think that's one of the huge benefits of MPW being a municipal utility. Our board members live in the community; they want the community to thrive, just like every other community does. And we don't have to. When it comes to budget time and capital allocations, we don't have to, our projects don't have to win over some other plant if you're in a corporate setting. So, our board, just give them a lot of credit for seeing, what the community needs and making those decisions to invest in the community and keep us moving forward.
Yeah, and I think, the other big thing is you don't have dividends to fight, you don't have payments to shareholders, because functionally every customer is essentially, and not necessarily an owner, but functionally, that's kind of what it's like, because you're here to serve the community. So, which is actually a really nice segue over into Almost Friday Fest in reality. So, what are you guys doing this Friday? Or, well, it's not this.
This month.
Yeah.
Wow, I need to, like, when we come back from a long weekend, I need to do like a practice show or something, because I'm like, my tongue is not working. So, Almost Friday Fest is the 28th, so it's a couple of weeks away yet. And I always get it screwed up. It's the fourth Thursday of the month. For some reason, I always thought it was the third. I don't know why. But you guys going to be hanging out there like always? Yes.
We are. We're going to be staffing all of the volunteer positions this month. So we'll be at the beer tent. We'll be driving the golf carts at the not the ticket gate, but the wristband area. And, you know, we've had some involvement with Almost Friday Fest since the beginning.
Yeah.
Brenda Christensen,
Yep.
you know, worked for MPW, still works on a part-time basis. And so she was able to get us involved, and we just really embraced it. It's such a wonderful thing for the community. So we're excited to be a sponsor of the September Almost Friday Fest.
That's awesome.
And I know the employees, they enjoy volunteering and going down there. Eric and I will be down there working that night. And it's just a fun time to get to see the community and see our friends. And, you know.
And you guys always have, again, because of Brenda's connection, obviously, there's, from the very beginning, there's always been tons of MPW people there volunteering, making things happen, like getting the lights working, and like just tons and tons of stuff. And like, I even remember one time we all came down, all of the cable providers, and we like had like live, you know, we were like showing what was on our channels for everybody, and it was a little bit of a technical nightmare, but it worked, and it was cool, right? Because people didn't necessarily, and like we were like filming what was going on, passing it all the way through the system, and it was like coming back on the TV through our channel down there, so people could see like what it actually does. So that was pretty cool.
And MPW is going to be hosting Iowa municipal broadband utilities during that Almost Friday Fest. So we're going to be bringing in lots of guests from all over the state, and we're going to have our evening function down at Almost Friday Fest.
Nice.
So, you know, anytime we can bring other communities in to see the good things that are going on in Muscatine, it continues to be great for Muscatine.
Now all we need is an amphitheater down there, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like supporting Almost Friday Fest will help get us an amphitheater. So go down, buy some drinks, hang out, and then hopefully soonish we'll have a amphitheater. So holy cow. Tons and tons of stuff. It's always, and you guys, one thing that we've talked about before, just in like our little side meetings, is how much you guys listen to the clients and the customers, because ultimately that's what drives everything you guys do. So you guys have got a big survey coming up, correct? What do people need to watch out for on that?
So we'll be doing a customer satisfaction survey in October, so be on the lookout for that to hit your email inbox. So if I always like to encourage, if we don't have your email on file, you know, that is really an important tool for a lot of things we do, but this customer satisfaction survey will be one that we'll be sending out. It's about 20 to 30 questions and should take maybe about 5 to 10 minutes to complete. But it is a lot of information and feedback that we appreciate getting from our customers, because as you said, you know, and Erika, you hit on it too, that we really do listen to our customers, our community needs, and this is a great way for us to make sure we're hearing, you know, what our customers have to say, what they have experienced, and find ways that if we can do things better or change things up a bit.
Well, and one thing, you know, I'm lucky in a lot of ways in this community, but one of the ways is I get to see a little bit behind the scenes what you guys do. And guys, they have like dashboards of like concerns, complaints, congratulations, like it all flows through, like everybody sees it, every single thing is addressed. Like it's not like, oh, you call and no, like, I mean, it literally, there's a process for everything, and it's thorough and impressive, and that's from me watching it, right? So. And
those are things that go to our board every month. You know, they get a recap of customer concerns, customer compliments for staff that gave our customers a great experience, which is what we want to do all the time.
Holy moly. Is there anything else? I mean, I think we covered all the stuff Holly gave us. Holly, double check us, but I think we made sure we covered everything from that. But like, what else? Is there anything, the question I'd love to ask is, and you're gonna hate me when I ask this, but like, what's something, if there's like one or two things you wish people knew about MPW that they might not know? Like, that you could just be like, hey, here's something cool you might not know.
I think my biggest thing is always just how much the employees really care about the work they do for the community that they do it for. Obviously, both of us having long careers at MPW, you know, we're passionate about what MPW stands for. And, you know, when there are things, if we would experience an outage, you know, to know the crews, how quickly they respond, how everybody drops everything they're working on, and just, you know, that outage is priority. We're there for our customers. We're making sure we're answering the phones, addressing concerns, and just really knowing that truly the employees that work at MPW care with a lot of passion, and you know, it's really, they want to make sure we are doing a great job to serve our community.
You took We Care, you took We Live Here, you took outage response. I think what I would add to that is, you know, we, in the last couple of years, have rolled out a completely new to us strategic plan, and it has been one of the most dynamic plans that we've ever put out, and something that all the employees can relate to. And we just went through the process of updating it for the next 3 years, and we'll be presenting that to our board. But we took input from, this is not the senior leadership team sitting in a bubble saying, here's what we want to do. We brought managers in, we brought folks in from all of the different departments to talk about what do we do well, what do we need to do better at, what aren't we doing today that maybe we should be doing. So, you know, all of those decisions are made by people who live in the community, who want to see the community get better. And so I'm excited about what's going to come out for our updated strategic plan, and hopefully we'll be able to come back and talk to you about that, Chris.
I'm sure we could probably find some time. I'm sure we can make it happen. And I'm actually going to throw one out that if you didn't see it, it was kind of the coolest thing. I called Mitch last week. Mitch like runs the marketing and like all that stuff. And we were talking, and as we were talking, he's getting pictures of a team that you guys sent to Florida to help prepare for the hurricane, right? So so literally all I know about it is Mitch was taking pictures of people while I was talking to him. Like, how many, like, who did you send? Like, what all?
Yeah, so municipal utilities, well, all utilities have a thing called mutual aid.
Right.
So if there's a storm that the local team is not able to recover from or respond fast enough, we can enlist outside resources to come in and help. And that's what happened in Florida. Mm-hmm. At the governor's urging, he's like, I want us to be able to, you know, start recovery as soon as we can safely after this hurricane passes. So municipal utility that we served for Hurricane Ian, put out the request for mutual aid, and our team was there, and we wanted to support them again. So we ask for volunteers. It's always a volunteer type of a thing, and we need at least 3 people who will go. And you know, that's not only an impact on them and on the utility because we're 3 people short, but it's an impact on their family as well. Mm-hmm. So you know, they're pretty big decisions of who's gonna, who's willing to do that. And we sent them down there, and they made it to their staging area in Georgia. And fortunately, the place where we were going to support did not have the damage that they thought they were expecting. So we made sure that there weren't any other municipal utilities that needed help while they were already so close. But they ended up coming back home, and they are home safely.
Okay, I'm curious. Do you send a truck? Like, do they just hop in like one of your like bucket trucks and go?
We take a bucket truck and a digger derrick and a pickup truck.
Got it. Okay, so I mean, it's like you send the whole thing, because obviously they're going to need the equipment and they don't. That was probably an obvious thing. I should have been able to figure out that obviously they're going to send the trucks with them.
And I think, you know, as a community, when we had our tornado, our big tornado that came through Fruitland all the way up to the north end, you know, as a utility employee, I'll never forget stepping outside and seeing the line crew, the mutual aid that was coming in for us, rolling down Cedar Street, and just knowing, you know, that help was here. So it's always a nice opportunity when we can help other communities experience that same sense of relief that there's help here to get them back on track.
It's also not like, you know, a lot of us do the neighborly thing, you know, tree goes down, we all go help chop it up, whatever. But like what you guys do isn't something that like I can just hop in and help with. I mean, I could, it probably wouldn't end up well, and we'd all probably end up dead. But it's nice that you guys have that stuff available and not afraid to use it and not afraid to contribute back. So,
Absolutely.
holy cow. Anything else? I want
Yeah, one last thing I might take an
Yeah.
opportunity to bring
Yeah.
up is we are going to be doing what we're calling a route restructure. So when we send our meter readers out to gather readings on a monthly basis to prepare the bills, we have 7 different areas. We have the town broken into seven different cycles. So that's, they're reading meters all month long, get
Right.
those readings back into the office, and we generate bills. So we've been looking at a way to be able to do this process more efficiently. So we are going to be the October to November timeframe. We are going to be doing a route restructure where we're going to condense down from having 7 cycles down to 6, and we're going to absorb one of those routes or one of those cycles into a couple different billing routes. So an opportunity to bring that up, let customers know it's not impacting all customers, but we will be communicating with you via a bill message, an email, and letters in the mail to let you know if you will be impacted by that. What the customer is going to experience is just getting a new due date. So that's our biggest thing, is just to kind of be on the lookout for potentially a new due date that might be 5 days earlier or 5 days later, depending on how things shift that way. But again, having those email addresses and making sure we have all the accurate contact information on file helps us ensure we're getting the message out to the customers to be aware of.
So just get Smart Hub, then you'll be fine. Then you'll know, and it all just happens automatically,
Yes,
right?
another great plug for Smart
Just
Hub,
get
yes.
Smart Hub.
So that's pretty big and exciting, and efficiencies for the meter readers, efficiencies for customer service in the bill processing, gives us a little bit more time to do our checks that we need to do before we're sending bills out, and then some efficiencies for our accounting department and being able to close out our month a little bit earlier and get the information off, our financial information off to the board for a review. So there's just a lot of
Awesome.
efficiencies we can gain and do things, work smarter type of situations. So.
That's awesome. Ladies, thank you very much. I guess, Erika, did you have anything else? Look, I think, holy cow. It's always crazy because you guys always have so much going on that, honestly, we could probably sit here and talk all day about the stuff you guys have going on. But thank you for all the support always, and we'll be ready for volleyball tonight, Channel 3, right? MPW cable, Channel 3, PCTV. Not a plug or anything, just go. So, well, thank you guys very much, and we will be right back after the break with Jan Phillips from the Muscatine Civic Chorale.
It's time for an update from the Not So Late Show with Austin, brought to you by Unity Point Health.
Listen up, everyone. I've got some news. Things are still kind of crazy out there, and the pandemic is still going on. And it's hard to keep people healthy. And right now, things are really tough for healthcare workers. There are a lot of people needing help with their health. They're working very hard. They're tired. And they are working extra shifts. Well, that would be like when you just get right out of school. You have to go back and do it all over again. Ugh. So there's something you need to know. It's time to be kind. Healthcare workers are doing the best they can to help you. They just need your help too. Take care of yourself however you can with your vaccinations and your healthy habits. But if you get sick, go see your doctor. If you have to wait, be patient. Be a patient patient. They're real people just like you. And do you know why they're working so hard? For you. So show them a little love, or at least a little bit of kindness. That's one way we can all feel better. Okay, that's all I've got, everyone. Stay safe out there and remember to be kind to healthcare workers.
This has been a special update from the Not So Late Show with Austin. Good night. We'll see you next time.
Looking for a fun-filled summer? Look no further than the Muscatine County Fair.
Did we mention quality matters?
Welcome to our Cut Quality Center. Let's take a closer look.
Our mowers provide superior
Laser precision cut quality.
for a perfectly manicured lawn.
Let's break this down in science terms.
This grass is cut good. This grass is cut not as good.
Hustler Turf. Mow like a pro.
Stop in to Muscatine Lawn and Power at 2020 Stewart Road to see Hustler quality for yourself.
And welcome back. Welcome back. We are back. Sometimes I'm not ever sure. No. I have Jan Phillips with me, who, what is your official title with the Civic Chorale? Like, I want to say the do-it-all lady, but like.
And I think that artistic director and conductor.
Gotcha. Okay. So if you could, real quick, for those that don't know, introduce yourself and a little bit about what the Civic Chorale is, and then we'll dive into what's coming up.
Certainly. I have been the director of the Muscatine Civic Chorale since 1995. In a couple years, the chorale is going to be celebrating 50 years in Muscatine, and then I will be celebrating 30 years as their conductor. And I personally have been a resident of Muscatine since 1973. And then in 1975, in the first concert that the chorale had, I played in the orchestra that was, and at the time the director was Pete Martinez, who was my mentor. And actually, I went to Muscatine Community College, and it was through his influence I decided this is what I wanted to do with my life. So then started working at Muscatine Community College in 1980. And being a part of Muscatine's choral traditions has just been my career and my passion. And with my husband and my two kids, Muscatine's been a wonderful, wonderful place to share that culture.
Well, and I'll be honest, I didn't know a lot about the Civic Chorale until last winter-ish, and you guys had reached out about helping like promote it and broadcasting it and all that other stuff, and I'm like, and all of a sudden when I saw like who was there, I'm like, I know like 3/4 of these people, and yet I never really knew they were doing it. Like I knew like Tom Miller, like I knew he was always involved in like, playing the tuba places and, then doing stuff like this, but I never really like put my finger on what all they were. And so we got to come down and broadcast the spring concert, and it was fun. Like it's just, that one was like, and I'm not a music person, but it was like 30s, like
30s
Gershwin, like it was all stuff that you,
Berlin, Coldwater,
and
Duke Ellington.
You guys did like a cool, so it was all stuff that you like for me as like a non-music guy, like I recognize most of it, but you guys also did like a cool, like, it's not skit play, radio show, yeah, like throughout. So it kind of had like a story going in through with the songs, and it was just an enjoyable night. So like even if like you wouldn't say on spec like, oh, 30s Gershwin music, that's my jam, you can still go and enjoy it, and it's a great night.
And that's our desire. I think that a choral group, any kind of music group, if we're going to be performing, there's a couple of things that we want to accomplish. First of all, audience appeal. And I try to program things that are going to appeal from kids all the way through seasoned citizens and music lovers, and then also I'm hoping that just through their experience with the chorale, they'll trust us enough to say, well, I don't know about that kind of music, I don't know if I'm going to like that, but that they will know that we'll do it at the highest level, and we'll try to do it authentically and well, and so they'll trust us that this might be something that I can really get into.
And it's, what's cool is it's all people from the community. Mm-hmm. It's all like, again, like I said, I recognized probably 60% of the people there, and talents I didn't know they had, right?
Very
and
talented.
you know, just seeing how smoothly it went, so you know, a little behind the scenes sort of a thing. Like when we broadcast things, we need to know what's going to happen, right? Because then we know like what cameras to be on and things like that. Because when you're doing live, think of it like those production trucks. You see like cut to this, like that's what we're trying to do. But say you don't know much about like say a chorale performance with a radio show, you need somebody who can like communicate that to you and be able to like, while they're doing 17 other things getting ready for it, catch you up to speed. And you did a tremendous job of that, and the whole team. And like your music cues and like your microphone cues, like they've got just like a run a show document basically. It's all ready to go. And I was able to just kind of step in and be like, cool, record, broadcast, go. So that was really, from my point of view, something that people may not recognize as like the level with which you guys pulled this all together. So
well, thank you, and we so appreciate the way that Discover Muscatine and now Pearl City Media have been supporting us.
Mm-hmm.
That
absolutely.
Because again, I feel that we've been a gem in Muscatine since 1975, and again, I'm always surprised that people will say we didn't know that Muscatine had a civic chorale, and again, if you're not interested, maybe that's not going to appeal to you, but again, we just need to get the word out.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of things, and you know, I have this conversation with tons of organizations all the time, and it's, you know, I think sometimes, especially for organizations that have been around a long time, it's easy to just like either think people know you're there, and with all the messages that people get, like you have to constantly be out there, like the symphony and, you know, Almost Friday Fest and, you know, like all that stuff, you can't let up. And I think that's what I like about just even watching how you guys started approaching it. When I said like, hey, you could do that, you're like, yeah, do it, let's go. Like there was no like hesitation. It was just like, what do we need to do to pull this stuff off? And those are the kinds of organizations we love helping, because we can just point you in the right direction and be like, hey, here's a couple tools, go. And it's
so
fun.
appreciated. So appreciated.
So you're getting ready for the Christmas concert.
Yes.
So
Christmas in September?
Well, it's kind of like us getting ready for the holiday stroll. Like it's June and we're thinking Christmas, right?
Well, already in sending out the invitations to all of our singers and what's coming back is, I love Christmas music. I can't wait to get started.
Yeah. So let's talk about the concert first.
Okay.
And so when is it? What is it? How do people go enjoy it? Let's do that first.
Sure. So our Christmas concert, I've entitled it "Oh Holy Night." It is music, all Christmas music, and it is. I'll give you the details first. It is Friday, December 8th. It will be
Chris, do you have that?
7 p.m. and it'll be at Wesley United Methodist Church. And so the concert will consist of all music by a British composer named John Rutter. And so John Rutter is a contemporary composer, arranger. He writes a lot of original pieces. So I would say half of the concert will be his original works, and the other half will be Christmas carols that he has arranged. And so he has such a fresh, fun way of arranging for voices that it's fun to sing. So for the next 3 months, I guarantee you the Civic Chorale will be having fun in the rehearsals, because he has new, fresh ways of doing things, and it'll take you by surprise, and then after you hear it a few times, you go, oh, that's a really cool way of doing that. And the other thing that I think is special about this concert is it will show the brilliance and nostalgia aspects of Christmas and Christmas music. We're going to do one of his works called a Gloria, which is it's a movement of the Mass. Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill to men. Perfect Christmas words as well. And the way he has arranged this is with a brass ensemble and pipe organ and percussion. And I get goosebumps every time I listen to it. So we're going to have 6 brass, we got 3 trumpets, 3 trombones, tuba. It's just magnificent.
And the one thing I'll say, again, I've mentioned, you know, my brain doesn't think musically. Like, I can't clap in rhythm, right? And it never ceases to amaze me. Like, when I watched you guys, or like when I watched like Brian in the symphony, how somebody can think that multifacetedly to get that many disparate things to sound that good together, and then to have 20, 30 people all execute it, just the organization and the coordination of it all blows my mind. Even if I can never do it, I just sit there and I watch it, I'm like going,
it's awesome.
That's impressive, right? And of course I enjoy the music, like it's not that,
Sure.
but just like, I can't read, no, done.
Yeah.
But, so if somebody wants to participate, you guys are starting rehearsals, right?
We are, a week from today. That'll be September 12th. And that's a Tuesday evening. Our rehearsals are at Muscatine Community College, Strahan Hall, room 21. For those of you that are Muscatine Community College aficionados, that's the music room. Has been since the beginning of Strahan Hall. And so 7 to 9. And no audition necessary. If you enjoy singing, we invite you to come. And soprano, alto, tenor, bass, and if you're not sure what you are, then we'll find out.
Well, and the one thing, so it's funny you mentioned MCC aficionados. You know, I was just thinking, I usually try and tell people like how to get there. So Strahan Hall, like you used to say it's like the first building on the left as you come in, and it's like not anymore.
Not anymore.
So the easiest way to maybe think about this is if you park in the front lot of MCC and you kind of walk up to that corner, you'll see like probably in front of you the student center. It's actually kind of back to the left just a little bit at that point. So it's like just past the industrial, like I don't even know what's all in that building, that huge new cool building.
And it's wonderful.
It's the building just right after that, and you just kind of walk in that front door straight from the parking lot, and your first door
room on the left.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not too bad. I mean, I haven't been at MCC as a student for, my math's rough today, 25 years.
Did you take music appreciation?
Art. I had Mrs. Sessler.
Well, she's wonderful.
Yes. I had a cool story about Mrs. Sessler. Side note, she was my elementary school art teacher, and then she was my college art teacher, which was absolutely a blast.
Yes.
And that's only the stuff you get in Muscatine.
Muscatine.
And,
Absolutely.
So, okay. We have the concert in December.
Yes.
And then if you want to participate, hang out with them Tuesday nights, Strahan Hall, starting not this week, next week, right?
September 12th.
Yeah, next week. Yeah, holy cow.
Today.
A week from today. Today's Tuesday. I was thinking
Yes.
today was Monday. I'm like, no, not tomorrow. I apologize, folks. I'm a train wreck today. This is what you get when you give me an extra day off.
I know.
This is what you get.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It
Okay.
is.
So, Chris, were you able to bring up some of the pictures just so people get an idea? And obviously, we'll have you guys on as we lead up to the concert, and
We appreciate that.
make sure that everybody knows. And it's a blast. It's I would assume, you should put it on your calendar, kind of block out around it. It's all good. So,
What better thing to do? Pre-Christmas, get you in. I mean, it'll come the week after the holiday stroll.
Yep.
Everybody's just going to be in the Christmas spirit
Yep.
and just lead right up to Christmas
and
with some wonderful music.
You'll have the stroll, you'll have you guys, the symphony will have their Christmas program, like that whole there's about a 10-day period there where all the schools. Yeah, if you don't get enough Christmas in those 10 days, and the new lighting thing that Crossroads is doing out at Weed Park, which we'll get you more information on that coming up soon. If you don't get enough Christmas in this town, you're asleep at the wheel.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
You just need to pull your head out of the sand. So.
And we just want to be a part of that.
Yeah, and it's an absolutely enjoyable part. So.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, Jan, thank you for stopping in.
You bet.
And Muscatine, that'll do us for this morning. That'll do it for us this morning. you can catch us later tonight on MPW Channel 3, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere, discovermuscatine.com with the girls volleyball game at